Well, good morning. Inamana, inareo, inarao, ranatera, tena koto, tena tarto, katora. And good morning and welcome to all of you. I'm Ed Adelson, Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Arts here at University of Canterbury. And in just a minute, I'll tell you what arts is. First of all, it's so good to see so many shining and bright faces at 9 in the morning. I realize most of you are not going to want 9 in the morning classes, but we'll talk about that in a little bit too. So it's great that you're all here, and we're very excited to have you as a new cohort of students for the year. First, I'd like to ask a few questions about who you are before I tell you a little bit about who we are. So I'd like just a show of hands. How many of you are Cantabrians? How many of you come from Canterbury? Quite a few, okay. How many of you are South Islanders but not Cantabrians? Quite a few of those as well. North Islanders. It's funny, the North Islanders are all sitting in the south side of the building, but there they are, a few down here. Very good, okay, great. We have a lot of international students with us too. Are there any from China with us here today? A few down here. And Korea? Any Koreans? I know we have some Indians who are joining us, some from India. Yeah, Pakistanis, and we also have some Pacific Islanders. Are any of those here? Any of you guys here with us today? Okay. Anyone from Iran or Kuwait or that region of the world? Europeans. We've got a few. We'll just, where in Europe? Denmark. Okay. Anybody else from Europe? Way back? No. Okay. U.S. Quite a few from the U.S. You might have already figured out that. I'm not a Kiwi by birth. I'm probably from the U.S. myself. And in fact, I came here last July to become Pro-Vice Chancellor of Arts at this university. And I'll tell you why, because this is an extraordinary university. The scholars here and the level of teaching, the level of engagement with students caught my attention from across the seas, and after 30 years as an academic somewhere else, I said I'd love to lead this college because of what it is and what it can be. So this is my first new cohort of students that I get to welcome, and I'm quite excited about that. First thing I want to tell you is that my office is on the first floor of the History Building, where the college office is. The dean resides there, the advisors do. You'll hear from them in just a minute. Stop by sometime and just stop in and let me know how you're doing over the year, because I love to keep in touch with students, especially new students. So a few pieces of advice, and then I'll leave you to the dean, who will tell you some more specifics. But we have nearly 30 programs across 5 schools, one of which is called a center because it's the Fine and Performing Arts. It's an incredible array of engagement. Learn about things you don't know. That's the best thing you can do. And learn about areas you don't know about. How do you do that? Well, you take courses that lead you to other courses in areas that you might never have thought about, in anthropology or sociology or history or other areas across our college, because one of the things that a great university like this can do is it can give you the opportunity to learn about intellectual areas of endeavor that you had no idea existed. So be sure to take advantage of that. You might think you came here to be an English major or a comms major. You might change your mind. So be sure to do that and to try to find a minor that has very little to do with your major, because in the end, that makes you a really interesting person who can go many different directions in your career. Get to know the academic staff, the faculty, the teachers, the instructors. They love to teach, and sometimes this will surprise you. They all look like they really are very secure because they stand in front of large groups like this and talk to people and impart information. In fact, some of them are very shy, and if you go up to them and say, I'd just like to introduce myself and I'd love to learn more about sociology or history or whatever, you'll make an instant friend and they'll be very pleased. So try to get to know the staff, not from a distance, but up close. Figure out who really runs the programs. It's usually not the staff. It's somebody important in each of the hubs or offices who really makes those offices work. Those are the people you want to talk to and get some good information about things. So you can figure that out. If you can't figure it out, come see me, because I'm starting to figure that out myself. Okay, don't just schedule classes based on the time of day. We've got some great ones at 8 in the morning, not just between 10 and 2. So I have to tell you that. Try something totally new. I've mentioned that already. Choose hard courses when you can, because at the end of the day, you'll feel really good about the fact that you did that. Don't just try to get into the ones that you think are going to be the easier ones. And try to take some advice from students who you think have nothing to do with what it is you like to do. You'll learn new things and you'll make new friends and you'll broaden yourself. Finally, I want to tell you, be sure to take advantage of the cultural life here. One of the things about Christ Church that's remarkable, and our college that's remarkable, are the cultural attributes, the concerts, the plays, the fine arts exhibits in the fine arts block, which change every week. It's a fantastic opportunity to meet new friends who are really involved as young artists and to learn about a cultural life that infuses this town and our campus. And I want to be sure that you keep track of all of that, and we'll try to help you with that. I think we should all feel lucky to be in an environment that's so vibrant. And I guess I'd like to again remind you, beyond all else, just to have a really good time. That college, university years are very special years, they're important years, and they're years when you can flourish, you can grow, and you can have a lot of fun as well. We're here to make sure that you have a very good experience, that you learn as much as you can and you grow as much as you can, and feedback to us and to me personally about how we're doing is always appreciated. So I hope you have a great year. I hope it launches a great career for all of you. I now have the distinct pleasure to introduce you to our brand new dean. She's actually a dean times 2 because she's the Dean of Humanities and Social Sciences. She's also the Dean of Creative Arts, which is 2 different positions. She's so capable that we simply gave them both to her at once and said, go for it. This is Dr. Kate Van Hechten, who's a longtime professor, faculty member here in social work and human services, has had a long career here and is very excited about helping you with your new careers here as well. So without any further ado, I'm very pleased to introduce you to our Dean, Kate Van Hechten, and again, welcome to Canterbury.
Thank you, Ed, and welcome. Kia ora tātou katoa. It's a pleasure to say hello to you. I think I meant to show you my name, and that explains why people just call me the Dean. Yeah? And Kate's just fine. Van Hecht is my surname. What does a dean do? Well, a dean, as I'm learning about this myself to some extent also, but the dean really shepherds the programs and looks after the regulations and the structures of courses, appeals. Most students will never meet the dean, except when she calls out your name at graduation. And then you'll be so focused on that certificate that you may not see me either. But I'll be there, and I'll be there in the background and care a whole lot about your progress, as all of us do, as Ed's explained. Now, the degrees can be quite complex, as Ed's explained. In your first year, it's really good to take a number of courses so that you can major with 2 or 3 choices in your BA, for example. You may not quite like the course you thought you were going to major in as much as you liked something else that you're involved in. So leave your options open with 2 or 3 at least. You're required anyway to have 2 majoring options in that first year, but or a major and a minor, but just leave your options open and see where your passions lie. There are a number of degrees. Some of you will be involved in a Bachelor of Fine Arts. That's got a different structure again. That's 4 years. Bachelor of Music, 3 years, but again a different structure. Bachelor of Social Work, some of you here involved in a Bachelor of Social Work? Anyone? Yep, a few people. That's a 4-year program. depending on whether you get into your third year. So this is pretty complicated, isn't it? Even though all courses now are 15 points, we think that simplifies things, or multiples of 15 points. Can get quite complicated. So seek advice with your course structures. Go and see the arts student advisors. They're there to help you with that. Okay? This is a first lecture in some ways, or at least it's kind of like my first lecture of the year all over again. This is a large lecture theatre. Some of you will be coming into a large lecture theatre like this next week. Yeah? Others won't be coming into a large setting like this, but in much smaller groups. So there are different settings for different programs. Attending your classes is really important. Sometimes students don't think that the first week might be quite as important because it's intro as the following weeks. The first week are really important because you're going to get your course outline, you're going to be told about your assessments. It's also the time that you can come in and everyone's new, and you'll sit next to other people who are new, and it's a wonderful time to introduce yourself to one another. Everybody's a bit nervous, anxious about that start. So it's a really good time to introduce yourself. Lectures in the morning start on the hour. Lectures in the afternoon start at 10 minutes past the hour. Why? So that you can have a little bit of a break and have some really quick food in the 20 minutes between the morning lectures and the afternoon lectures if they're all squashed together. That's traditionally, it's the reason why afternoon lectures start at 10 minutes past the hour. So they're 50-minute lectures, and they do really start on time. Yeah? So arrive on time for your lectures, take your seat, have your notes out or your pads out, and have your cell phone turned off. It doesn't happen very often that a cell phone goes off in a lecture. Last year, I do some lecturing, and last year it happened in one class once, and the poor person was right at the back, and the cell phone rang, and your lecturer is really keyed up, so they completely lose track. So everything stops, and everybody's gazing at the poor person in the back of the room who didn't know where the exit was either. So he kind of had to make his way all the way to the front and walk out. And that's just, everyone feels sympathetic, but it's not a great thing for you. Turn it off. In my notes, it says, tell people how to address your lecturers. Well, you can never go wrong by addressing people by their title. This is New Zealand. Many of your lecturers will be informal about that, though, and they'll probably tell you in the first lecture, like I do, just call me Kate. Yeah? You can't go wrong by using titles, professor or doctor. And then when they come back to you and say, just call me Kate, then proceed in that way. G'day. What's up? If you're asking for an extension, that's perhaps, and texting about extensions may just not be politic. Coursework, workloads, be sure you know about your assessments, sign up for your tutorials. Make sure that you meet your deadlines, and if you think you're not going to be able to, make sure you know about extension policies in the department or in the program, because they all have policies around deadlines and penalties and extensions, and if you get in trouble, ask for help. No one minds being asked for help, particularly in a timely fashion. If you go onto the university website, Look up student support as well. There's a really good link on there. I went and visited it again last night actually, and it's got just excellent resources there for you, all set out. Where can you go? The Study Skills Centre, for example, and all the other support services that are available to you are all handily linked, and you can find them from the front page of the university. Don't leave it till you really need it to visit those sites. Do it now. Yeah? Have a play around. Get to know that electronic structure that we have, those web pages, because a lot's electronic now. You've probably had to sign up, have you, to check your emails once a week? Is that right? Well, you're supposed to when you're a member of the university community as a student. You're supposed to check your emails once a week. That's so that we can be sure that you're getting our communications. And a lot of lecturers will now communicate with you regularly via email and via Learn. How many people here have heard of Learn? Learn? Yeah, all right. Well, find out what Learn is, because that's where your PowerPoints will be posted. Things like, you know, what comes up on the screen in the lecture often will be posted days in advance on Learn. So what can you do? You can print those out with lines left beside, take them into your lecture, take your notes there. So organise your system in relation to taking notes. So notice is the nitty-gritty detail, but it's kind of handy to set yourself up right when you start. Workloads, you're independent learners here at university. We give you lots of assistance, lots of suggestions. You're also independent learners, so we expect you to make good use of all of the resources, library resources. Join up on one of those tours of the library or one of those sessions at the library, so you really find out how to use the databases and all the resources, or a multi-search function on the library web page, for example. So, how much time? What do those points mean? Well, for every hour of lectures, count on spending about 2 hours in time independently learning. So that's reading, preparing, writing notes. About 2 hours for every hour of lectures. That works out for you 60 points per semester at a full-time workload of about 37.5 hours a week, around about 40 hours. So, assessment time, you might spend a bit more time. Sometimes too, your breaks, we call them study breaks now. They're not necessarily holidays. So you'll be having some assessments at times after a midterm break. Engage in discussions in your classes. Lecturers really enjoy having a little bit of banter and a little bit of discussion in classes, and particularly in tutorials. Discussions really start to happen, especially when you're well prepared by having done your readings. I think that probably brings me to about the end of what I have to say. But just to repeat, enjoy your courses. Yes, there's lots of work to do. Sometimes it can feel like quite hard work, but it's meant to actually be challenging. There aren't always clear answers to issues or questions. So it's about debating, it's about thinking about things, getting engaged. And I think that's easiest to do when you find your passion. So follow your passions. I'm going to hand you over to Irina Breitmeyer, who will tell you about how the student advisors can help you. And I'm sure lots of you have already met her.
Not sure about that. Hi everyone. As Kate said, I'm Irina Breitmeyer. I'm one of the student advisors at the College of Arts, and we are over in the History Building. You can see at the moment we're in C1. You are here, College of Arts office. So we have got 3 student advisors for undergraduate students, such as yourself at the moment. Azim Tashakor currently is on paternity leave, so Georgia and I are holding the post in the meantime. There are also some student advisors for postgraduate study, but we'll cover that a little bit later on. Now, we are here to help with all the degrees in the College of Arts suite, basically. So the major degree, of course, is the Bachelor of Arts, but we also cover the School of Fine Arts, the Bachelor of Fine Arts, the Bachelor of Music, the Bachelor of Social Work, and the languages. So you can do a diploma in Chinese or a diploma in Japanese, or there's all sorts of bits and pieces that are outlined in the enrolment handbook, which is one thing that I would suggest that you get quite familiar with. It's got everything in there that you need to know about degree structures, also about special ICRTAP passes and anything that you might need to know about. Also, they have a synopsis of what the courses are about, when they're held, whether they're held in a particular year or not. So if you ever come to see a student advisor for advice, we can't actually help you to choose a specific subject because that's really up to you. So you'll need to have a certain amount of knowledge already on board if you ever do decide to come and see us. Now, what can we help with? We do a lot of degree planning with students, so once you get going on your first year, you might want to check in with us and see that you're on a good pathway in order to be able to complete a degree. So we do a lot of points calculations for people. We can help you with your major. Like if you have decided to do a major in anthropology, we can let you know what the core requirements for that major are and what you might need to do to prepare to complete your degree by the end of the 3rd year. What we would advise is that if you have any problems or you think to yourself, oh my gosh, am I ready? Am I doing the right things? Am I on the right pathway? Get in touch with us. There's an email address I'll show you later on, but it's also on our website and fairly well published throughout the university. The common thread that you hear is that we're all here to help you to succeed. So that's from the lecturers to the student advisors. So you need to be really quite proactive about making sure that you're on the right track. If you do email us, we try to get back to you within 24 hours. Having said that, like at the moment we're in the middle of the enrolment and it's really, really busy and we've got a very big backlog. But if that is the case and we can't get hold of you within 24 hours, then you'll be well notified about that. If you email us about a concern that you might have about a course that you're doing or, where you're at with your degree, it may be appropriate for you to come in and have an appointment. And if so, we can let you know about that at the time. We can also take care of transfers of credits from other New Zealand universities. So if anyone's a first year student here but has done other study within New Zealand, then we can take care of that for you as well. Now also, a big part of the job is to process enrolments. So if you ever put an enrolment into the system and it says the lovely word pending and it doesn't seem to be going through, then you can flick us an email or come in and see us and we'll be able to have a wee investigate, see what's going wrong and hopefully fix that problem, or we can advise you where you need to go to sort that out. Okay? So, here's the email address you need to commit to memory, artsdegreeadvice@canterbury.ac.nz. Feel free to flick us an email if you need us for any reason. And that's about it from me. So I'll hand over to, is it Carla next? Or Jessica?
I think you had something to say, right? We know what we're doing here.
Good morning, everybody. It's such a delight to see you all here and all ready for the start of your university careers. If you're a postgrad, which I don't know whether there are any in here, welcome back. And if you've started, just welcome to Canterbury, welcome to Christchurch, welcome to New Zealand, from wherever you're from. Now, my name's Carla Moore, and I've joined the university relatively recently. However, I've been working in education, particularly tertiary education environments, for around about 10 to 15 years now. And I tried to think last night when I was lying in bed waiting for it all to kick off today with the enrolments and everything, what can I say which will indicate the difference between what I do and what Erina does? Because there's some similarities between us. And what I thought I'd do is pull out a song lyric. Now, there is a prize, and I thought people would perk up. I will put $20 behind any cafe on university for the person that can tell me first where these lyrics come from. When you try your best but you don't succeed. When you get what you want but not what you need. Yes, $20 to the girl in the third row. Well done. Okay. So I'll just carry on. When you feel so tired but you can't sleep, you're stuck in reverse. The tears come streaming down your face. You lose something you can't replace. When you love someone, it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try and fix you. Okay? Now, you're probably wondering what that's all about. Now, there's certain issues that I can help you with that your academic advisor might not be able to help you with. Now, these are some of the things that we do. Pastoral care via student services is non-academic advice. So if you come to me and say, I don't know what to do about my degree, I don't know how it's structured properly, I'm not the best person to talk to. However, if there's something ailing you, if there's something upsetting you, if you're having any of these difficulties down here, mental health services, social services, things to do with your personal health, immigration, emergency situations. Unfortunately, we do have a number of situations a year, be it from assaults to car crashes to things that happen to students in their everyday lives. You're not immune because you're at university. You get arrested, you become the victim of a crime, so on and so forth. Now, with terms of relationship and culture shock, the international students in here will be very well aware of what culture shock is. Being supplanted from everything that you know to everything that you don't know in one fell swoop. So this is your opportunity to ask for help and get it when you need it. Also, discrimination and harassment cases we will deal with across the university, and anything else. We've usually come across your situation in some way, shape or form previously, which means that we've got good enough links to be able to help you. And if we can't help you, we can certainly guide you to services that will help you. Okay, so bear that in mind. The other thing to bear in mind is basically there's a hell of a lot of you and there's only one of me, which means that if you're looking for an appointment for assistance, then please do think about it in advance. But I would urge you, ask for help early rather than later. If things are allowed to progress and get steadily worse, to get yourself back out of that situation is then going to be a bigger challenge. So I'd urge you to come and speak to people at the university who have your best interests at heart. So just a couple of tips. We're located in the Student Services Centre and we're on the upper floor. Okay, you can drop in, but it's prudent, particularly at this point in the year, to make an appointment if you can. We're culturally informed. There's 6 advisors, 2 from the Middle Eastern region, China, Europe, obviously myself from the UK, and other areas in the world. We also work very closely with the Disability Support Unit, the Maori Services Unit, and the Pacifica Unit as well. So there is lots of crossover between ourselves and those services. I would urge you, if you have some kind of issue, keep evidence of that issue. If you visit the health centre, if you have an appointment, if you have to speak to somebody, keep evidence of that, because there's nothing that bureaucracies like more than more bureaucracy. So if we can have that evidence, we can progress your case much, much quicker. So come into us, when you talk to us, bring things that you think might be helpful. Now, with regard to how the College of Arts and the Student Services work together, we try and look after you as a whole cohort. Okay? This is a new structure for us as well, as there's been changes throughout the university over the past 2 years. So we're getting used to it as well. Now, the information that you speak to me about can be entirely confidential, or I can liaise with your lecturers, with the dean, with other members of your faculty in order to be able to smooth the relationship. Okay, so that's enough for me today. Just once again to reiterate, it's such a pleasure to see you here, and I look forward to working with you, whether you have a very serious issue or something that can be solved relatively quickly. Thank you, and thanks to the College of Arts for hosting me.
I just want to tell you that I do a lot of talking to parents groups, to the public in various guises, and when people ask me, what's the most flexible major you can have, I always tell them it needs to be in arts, because there's nothing wrong with being a science major and going into the sciences, or commerce, or business, or engineering, but if you really want a flexible major, one that can twist and turn with all of the professions in the coming decades that we won't know about right now, just as there's so many things right now that I didn't know about 30 years ago when I was a student, choose arts. And many of our leaders in society, politicians, leaders of CEOs of companies, they come from arts backgrounds, because an arts education teaches you to think flexibly. It teaches you to have sorts of skills that allow you to be analytical, to be thoughtful, and to be broad, and to be flexible. And one of the ways that we can take advantage of that and really prove the point is to offer you an opportunity to go right out into the community and do important things as you're a student. And I'm really excited. It's one of the most exciting things about the college, that the college about a year ago started an internship program, and they picked just the right person to run it, a lecturer named Jessica Johnston, who brings lots of energy and lots of excitement and lots of creativity into that, and she's here to try to entice you into one of these internships. So I'm happy to introduce her so she can speak directly to you. So, Jessica.
Thank you, Ed. We started the internship program because as a BA major myself, as an undergrad, I was constantly asked, what are you going to do with that? You're out there, you've got this 4-year degree, but what are you going to do with it when you graduate? So you're a history major, so you're a classics major. What is the point? So what I did, I started the program, turn that on, good. I started the program because there's these competing orientations of what you're going to do when you graduate. So you may major in your subject, history, English, classics, anthropology, because you enjoy it. You did it well in school, you're less interested in commerce, sciences, or you have this critical conscience, you like to do critique, debates, that kind of thing. But you're getting this pressure from parents, from your peers. What are you going to do when you graduate? On that day one, you get your degree, Ed shakes your hand, what are you going to do? How has your history, English, anthropology, sociology major prepared you for a job? The big thing that people are asking, and the parents are asking, and they're asking all of us now, is what are you going to do with that? I'm an American Studies major. I got that continually in America. What are you going to do with that? You're going to study Indians? I was interviewed by Spanky in RDU. The BA students have a reputation of being the party students. You always want them there at the party. But what are you going to do when you graduate? So part of what we have here is we've developed the whole ability to work on, go forward, what the top 10 skills of what employers want today. If you look at those, number 2 and number 3 and number 9 and number 10 are what we teach in the BA. When you're writing those essays and you're cranking them out and you get back on your essay, you need to develop this point more, this needs to be a clearer sentence. Those are the kind of things employers really want you to have by the time you graduate. When you have to do those oral presentations that you hate, those are the skills that employers want. We teach in the BA the whole aspect of the problem solving and analytical skills. This survey was done for employers in New Zealand, what they want when you graduate. When you go out there for that first job and you've got the BA, those are the skills you want to be able to communicate to them that you've got. That's what we teach. That's why we have you write those essays. That's why you have those oral presentations, to develop the skills so you can tell those employers. So why arts? We teach, I'm a lecturer in American Studies. I teach a class on science fiction. I teach a class on crime and punishment in American culture. What is that going to do for you to get out there in the real world? Part of what the internship is about is helping you get the vocabulary to translate those courses into the job skills that employers are looking for. So we teach about being the kind of democratic citizen. So in my sci-fi class, and all lectures are doing this, you teach about the problems of technology taking over. How do humans interact with it? In crime and punishment, issues on gender, race, and class are part of the whole perspective of what we're teaching. So all your different subjects in the BA are helping you think about these things to expand your mind out to the broader orientations. Now, does commerce, law, biology, science do this? Not as well as the BA. We're constantly pushing you to think about the bigger picture, and that's what employers like. They like it that you have the ability to ask the questions that aren't obvious. You're the ones who are thinking about the assumptions behind the facts. So that is a great skill that we're teaching you, and employers really enjoy it. And if arts don't do this, who's going to? Commerce is teaching marketing, human relations. They're teaching you how to do. In the BA, we're teaching you how to think about it, to ask the questions about how to do it. So when you go out there, you have the ability to contribute beyond the facts. And again, I keep saying that employers really like it. So these are the objectives of the internship. We're not merely giving you job training or job experience. We're having you actually go out there. You're not filing. You're doing research for an organization. When I go out there, I ask the employers, do you have a wish list of things that you'd like to do that you can't get to because you're so busy doing what you're doing? And they all come back. They have great ideas. I have a list of what we've been done in the last 2 years. We're also giving you in the internship proactive vocabulary for the workplace. So when you go out there, you can translate your knowledge of your subject into the vocabulary that employers enjoy and want to hear. It also allows you to put those into the vocabulary that employers want and communicate that to the rest of the world. So you can tell your parents, you can tell your friends, you can tell the engineers that you're flatting with that you too have real world skills. The fact is that they've said that some of the most depressed students are art students living with engineers, because the engineers are always going out there and they're applying their knowledge continually while the arts are sitting there thinking. Can you go out there and say, well, I'm a critical thinker, I deserve this job? The employers don't want that. They want to know what you can do with those critical skills, critical thinking skills, to put them into that real world vocabulary and translate into something that they can exploit and use. So these are some of the organizations. The ones that are highlighted here are the ones that we've actually worked with. This year we have one at the Bioweapons Monitor. Isn't that a fascinating idea? This Bioweapons Monitor is monitoring the treaties that international organizations have gotten together, international nations have gotten together, they've signed it. The Biomonitor goes through and does the research on how well they are coming up with those treaties, how well they're actually going through and establishing the criteria for what they've done. We have one for the Disarmament Center over on that side. They're coming up with a computer game that is non-violent. You're going, oh, that's not going to be fun. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create a game that is interesting, enjoyable, and marketable so that people actually play it and enjoy it. So we have a lot of different varieties of internships. They go from RDU, College of Midwifery, Navy Civilian Relations, Eating Awareness Team, and the Howard League for Penal Reform. What I have for you here is just the orientation. It goes from all the different subjects within the BA. We have one working at the Confucius Institute this year. A French student is going to New Caledonia to put together a language packet for students over there. If you come up with a project yourself that you'd like to bring to me, I'm willing to work with that too. So there's different ways you can actually get into it. You have to apply, go through an interview, and then you get picked. All right, to think about it, for the stage, it's a stage 3 course, so you have to work stage 1, stage 2. It doesn't count towards your major specifically. It counts as one of those extras at the 300 level towards your total points when you graduate. And one more. Come, there we go. All right, what I have here are 2 of the applications. One is for the Eating Awareness Team and one is for the Howard League. I have 2 of the interns last year who can talk about their experiences. This is Dominique and Gina.
Hi, I'm Dominique. I worked with the Eating Awareness Team last year. So they are an organisation which provides services and resources to anyone that's having issues with weight or eating or body image. So what I did for them was an evaluation of their services, and that was from the perspective of other health professionals in Christchurch. So it involved collecting data through online surveys and face-to-face interviews and analysing all that data and writing it all up and putting it into a report. So there are a lot of benefits to doing an internship. Even though I dropped one of my papers so I could take up this internship, and now I'm trying to cram everything into this semester so I can finish my degree, it was one of the best things I've ever done. It was challenging but really, really enjoyable, and I learned so much from it. Pretty much the most important thing for me to come out of it was that even though I haven't finished my degree and I'm not out in the workplace, I can say that I've already contributed something to an organisation which is really important. The Eating Awareness Team does really amazing work, and I've done something to help them, and my work actually affects people, and that's really important to me, and it was really challenging. But that I can say that I've done that, and that my work was really valued. And I think that's just a really awesome thing to have done before I'm even out in the workforce, before I've even finished my degree. That's something to put on my CV, and I think that's just really important. And I think that's it from me. Gina.
Thank you. Good morning. My name's Gina, and I'm entering my 4th and fingers crossed final year of university, but I've been sucked in, so I'll probably come back for many more years. Small amount of background. I started off where you were. I was doing a law degree and a chemistry degree. I'm going to walk out of here with an arts degree in sociology and linguistics and a science degree in psychology. So firstly, piece of advice is don't fret if you hate your classes. I hated all of mine in first year, and then swapped and changed and found things I liked and went from there, and it's honestly not a biggie. But one of the things I did last year was the internship, and I was with the Howard League for Penal Reform, which is an organisation which advocates for prisoners in New Zealand, so prisoners' rights. So we deal with people who have got medical rights, they're not getting medical care, or they're not getting dental care, or they're not letting their family be seen or anything like that. My role in that was I had to go through the past 12 years of correspondence with them and kind of analyse it all, collate it all, put together a big database which can be used through for a while about the common problems in the penal system, the correction system in New Zealand, and not surprisingly there's quite a few of them. But I found it really worthwhile. for a few reasons. It's actually really nice to be able to get dressed up in proper grown-up clothes and toddle off to town for a day and sit in an office and tap away at a computer and pretend like you're doing important things. And it got to the point where I wasn't actually pretending I was doing important things. I got sent off to Rotorua to a conference up there. I like to think it was because they wanted me there. It was probably because they had no one else to send. But, you know, I still got to go. I've made a lot of connections. I've met a lot of people. I went from not knowing anyone in the area to being able to yarn to, you know, Phil Goff about things and Peter Sharples, and which sounds all really pretentious things, but it's true. So, you know, what can you say? But the other thing about it is that it teaches you a lot. You sit in class and you learn theories from 1700 about someone that you're never going to remember and who never really matters, which is all important for exams and things, but at the grand scheme of things, at the end of the day, you need to know how to put those things into perspective and how to actually use them. The arts internship is what teaches you how to do that. So keep an eye out. I know it seems like forever away for you guys. You've got a couple of years, you do it in your final year or third year or so, your final year of the arts degree. It seems like forever away, but keep an eye out. Hop on the website and have a look and see what things are happening, because you'll get more of an idea of what your options are. Remember it and definitely do apply for it. Are restricted, you're not guaranteed an internship, but give it a go. You're here, you're paying a lot of money to be here. My best piece of advice for you would be take all opportunities. Sign up for everything. Do everything. If you miss a class, don't worry, pick up on it later. Play sports, go to clubs, join clubs, go out with whoever wants to go out. You know, do everything that comes your way. I've done that, it's served me well. I've met a lot of people through it. I've created a lot of connections, and fingers crossed, it'll help me in the future. So enjoy your time here though, and make the most of it. It'll be a good few years. Pass it back.
Well, I very much appreciate the attention you've given us this morning. Thank you for coming to this opening session. I'm personally excited for the journey that you have in front of you. University years are very important years. They can be transformative. It's an opportunity and a great experience that we'll look forward to together, and I hope we'll keep in touch and I'll get to know some of you over the next few years. So good luck and best wishes for you as brand new University of Canterbury students and as students in the College of Arts, and welcome to the university. Thank you.